everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole and I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark, and today I'm going to talk about some new features that have been released to Poshmark recently and how to use them and what they're good for. There's a lot of new features and I'm really excited to dive right into this, so make sure you're subscribed and make sure that you keep watching because a lot of these features could really be helpful for you to use. And also, I make these feature videos every so often whenever I see a new feature out, so I would love to have you stick around for more because I'm sure there's going to be more features that are released in a few weeks or a couple months that I'll be talking about again. Okay, so the first one that I want to talk about is in regards to the promoted closets. So if you use the promoted closets, you are now able to use your redeemable balance towards your promoted closet subscription. So what this means is if you earn credits on Poshmark or you've earned money from, selling things, you are now able to use that money to pay for your promoted closets, so you don't have to use an external source such as a credit card or PayPal or anything like that. So this is really great because I know a lot of people who, really rely on their redeemable balance to be able to pay for certain things. And so now you can automatically just direct those funds right to your promoted closets if you use that. I know not everyone uses the promoted closets and a lot of people don't like it, but if you do use it, this is a great thing to do to really just keep everything in the app and not have to have different sources and your credit card attached and stuff like that if you're not, if you don't want that to be the case. Okay, the next new feature that has been released to the app recently is regarding the Posh shows. So if you use the Posh shows, you know that the accidental bids was a crazy nightmare for the longest time, and there was never really a solution that was put in place on how to fix that because it was just so bad. People would just tap by accident, and you would enter a show and then you would try and swipe out and then you'd tap the button by accident. So there were so many people that were for the longest time just being like, oh, I accidentally bid, I didn't mean to actually bid, or whatever it is, things like that. And that was happening for as long as the shows were out. Poshmark has since put out an update a couple weeks back where they now have a slide button to bid on the item. So this is really gonna minimize those accidental bids, and in fact, I think now if you try and claim that it's an accidental bid, it's a lot less likely that they're willing to, accept that, because now you have to slide the whole bid icon to the right. So it's kind of like if you're paying for something, you have to swipe it all the way to the right to verify. So it's a lot less likely that you will accidentally bid on that. So I think this is really great. Since them releasing this new feature, I haven't had anyone accidentally bid on my own items in my shows, and I think the number of accidental bids has definitely gone down over the last couple of weeks and maybe months. So this is really great, and I'm excited that this new feature exists, and I think it's going to prevent people from just being able to bid, on crazy things and, on anything. So let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think this is helpful? Have you noticed a decrease in the number of people saying that they need to cancel for accidental bids or things like that? Have you noticed that this has made an impact? Or if you are a buyer, have you noticed that you have been less likely to bid on something or, accidentally bid on something? Because I know a lot of people who have said that they've entered a show and then bid on something by accident. So let me know if you've noticed any changes with this or if you think this feature has been really helpful. Okay, the next new feature that they have released is basically this Posh persona thing where it tells you about your page. So this was kind of something they put out in the beginning of the year, in early January, where they're just basically saying that you're making a huge impact on the community and that your content and your listings are really valued and that 2025 is going to be a great year for you. So this was just kind of I don't know, it wasn't really an important feature to use, but it was just kind of a nice, hey, we see your efforts and we see what you're doing and we value what you're doing. So it was kind of nice to see that, and they sent it out via email. So if you didn't have emails turned on, you wouldn't have received that notification. So things like this are updates that they just send out via email, and they just kind of say, hey, we're grateful for you. And so this was really nice to see. And I know a lot of people didn't quite see this because they didn't have the emails turned on or something like that. So this is a good way or a good reason to have your emails turned on so you can kind of see these kind of updates like this, because sometimes it's really nice to just feel recognized and feel appreciated for what you do. Okay, the next feature that I wanted to talk about in this video also regards to the Poshmark shows. So if you do a show and you're filling out the template of like, the show details such as the title, the auction time, and your cover photo, all these different things, you used to have the option to just select if you wanted to allow shared listings, but now you can also select if you're going to do a completely low start show. So this kind of just puts your items in front of more people when you select that it's a low start show, because it's saying all of your items in the show are going to be run for $5, and it kind of just like puts your show in a different category, like it's kind of like a show tag. So also the other thing that is really helpful with this is you don't have to go in and say that you're running each item for $5. It kind of does it automatically, but it doesn't allow you to change that price. So if you wanted to, have one listing go higher, or maybe you're going to pull in something that somebody else wanted in the show, but it's not going to be for your $5 price, you can't run that item in the show for more than $5. That's something to notice, especially if you pull in other items. But if you know that every single item that you're going to run in that show is going to be $5, and you're not trying to run them for higher. Now this doesn't go for like if somebody bids, because if somebody bids, then it's fine, but you're saying that the start price is going to be $5 and no different. So if you're okay with that and you're going to start every bid at $5, then clicking on this tag is going to be great. And then it also tells you in a banner notification when you go to pull in listings from your show, it tells you that all of your listings that you pull into the show are going to run for $5, and that can't be changed. So I think this is a great tag. Now, obviously this isn't going to work for everyone's closet, because not everyone wants to do low starts, not everyone wants to do items for $5, but I think sometimes like I tag my show as low start, but sometimes it's just really hard to get that extra visibility during a show, and with everybody else doing shows, I think it's just one of those things where it's like any extra visibility we can get is going to be helpful. So I know I've actually been using this feature so far, and I've been tagging my listings with it, and then it makes it really easy when I pull in the listings. I don't have to set the price, and it just runs, and then I just say like the time that I want it to run for. So it does make it a little easier, but I know that, like I said, it's not going to work for everyone, and not everyone wants to do a $5 start. And again, if you do a low start such as like $3 or $4 or anything else, this low start button is not going to work for you, because it only works for a $5 low start. So say you want to do low starts and you want to tag it as low starts, but you want to start the bid at 3, you can't click this button because it only works for a bid starting at $5. So let me know if you've been a seller and you've started using this button, or if you've seen this button helps you get more visibility to your shows, because I think it does definitely help, but I don't know if there's really a way to tell like specifically if it's pulling in more people or not. But let me know if you've had success with this, and if you're using it, or if you're not using it. I would love to hear all the opinions and thoughts down below. Okay, so that is actually it for the new features that I'm going to talk about in today's video. These are all like smaller things, but they definitely do make a big difference, especially that bid button, because my gosh, that was so frustrating for so long that there was no solution to an accidental bid. And the amount of people that I've had reach out and say, oh, can you cancel my order, that was an accidental bid, or the horror stories that I heard other people talk about, how they accidentally bid on something that they didn't even realize they bid on, or like their son or their daughter, clicked on a button, or their dog did it. I had that excuse once. And so the amount of like situations I heard of people accidentally bidding on things was so high that, I'm sure Poshmark got so many frustrating emails and comments from people. And while, I always thought they weren't going to do anything because for them, they're making the extra money. At some point you have to listen to the people that, run your app, because if you don't listen and you don't hear our feedback, people are going to leave. People are not going to want to deal with it. And I think that's what was happening. People were leaving the app because they were so frustrated. So they finally put out a solution, and I think this solution is definitely better, because it also makes sure that, like, say you're like adjusting your phone or something and you don't accidentally just hit the button. Like maybe you want to make sure that you want to bid on the item, so you swipe it. So it kind of delays you from being able to bid fast, which is kind of beneficial, especially if you're hesitant, or if you are clumsy and like hit the button by accident. This really ensures that like you can't do it by accident anymore, because you really have to swipe the whole button across. So I'm really excited for this feature, and I'm excited for some of the other ones as well, and I'm gonna definitely start incorporating those in my future activities on Poshmark. If you want to see another new features video, like I said, I do these every so often when there's new features out. If you want to check out another one of those videos I did, I have a couple here that I will link that basically cover other new features that have been released, and basically how to use them and what they're good for. They might not be as new as these, but maybe you're not aware of those features, and maybe you can start using those to have some more success on the platform. But until next time, I will see you then.